What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios Channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and it's time to discuss what will probably be the last video for today as we attempt to get caught up. Ralph Breaks the Internet, featuring the voice talents of John C. Reilly, Sarah Silverman, Jack McBrayer, Jane Lynch, Alan Tudyk, Ed O'Neill, Gal Gadot, Taraji P. Henson, and Alfred Molina. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, this is probably going to be the last video today as we try to get caught up from all the content that was missed last week. And right now, we're going to take a look at Ralph Breaks the Internet. And our movie takes place 6 years after the events of the first film. Ralph and Vanellope have stayed best friends, hanging out after work in Litwack's arcade. Ralph is content with his life, but Vanellope longs for excitement and expresses how bored she has become of Sugar Rush's predictability. In order to please her, Ralph sneaks into her game and creates a brand new track. The next day, when Vanellope fights the arcade player's control in order to try to test the track, the cabinet's steering wheel breaks. As the company that made Sugar Rush is now defunct and out of business, the cost of a replacement wheel on eBay is way too high. So Litwack decides to scrap Sugar Rush and unplugs the game, leaving its citizens homeless. The Surge Protector finds homes for all of Sugar Rush's citizens as a short-term measure as they try to figure out how to save the game, with Fix-It Felix and Calhoun adopting the racers. Remembering eBay, Ralph and Vanellope travel through Litwack's brand new Wi-Fi router to the internet, a place where websites are represented as buildings in a sprawling city, where avatars represent users and programs are people. The search engine Knows More directs them to eBay, where they win the auction for the steering wheel by unintentionally spiking the price up to $27,001, only to discover that they now have 24 hours to raise the funds, or they will forfeit the bid and lose the will. On the way out, they run into clickbait salesman J.P. Spamley, who brokers items obtained from video games and offers them a lucrative job attempting to steal a car from Shank, the lead character in the popular racing-centered battle royale game Slaughter Race. They are able to steal Shank's car, but she stops them before they can leave the game. After hearing their story, Shank suggests another way that they can make money on the internet. She makes a viral video of Ralph and uploads it to the video sharing site BuzzTube. Shank then directs them to Yes, BuzzTube's head algorithm, who capitalizes on Ralph's video popularity. They decide to make more videos, which in turn will earn them the money they need for the wheel, if they can attract enough views. Vanellope offers to help advertise the videos, and Ralph has Yes send her to ohmydisney.com. There, while being chased by stormtroopers for advertising on the website, Vanellope runs into and befriends the Disney princesses. Vanellope is encouraged by the Disney princesses to discuss her sense of unfulfillment, and she ends up reaching an epiphany in the form of an I Want song on the subject. Ralph is able to make enough money to buy the wheel, but he finds Vanellope talking with Shank, overhearing how she wants to stay in Slaughter Race, having felt at home there due to its relative novelty and unpredictability compared to Sugar Rush. Worried about losing his friend forever, Ralph asks family for a way to draw Vanellope out of the game and is brought into the dark web to Double Dan, who provides Ralph with a virus called Arthur that feeds off of the insecurities and replicates them. When Ralph unleashes Arthur into Slaughter Race, it replicates Vanellope's glitch, triggering a server reboot. Ralph, Shank, and the others help Vanellope escape before the game resets. Vanellope blames herself for the crash, but Ralph confesses to her that the crash was actually his fault. Outraged by this reveal, an argument breaks out, culminating in Vanellope throwing away Ralph's cookie medal and running off. As a guilt ridden Ralph now finds his cracked in half medal, Arthur copies Ralph's insecurities and makes duplicates of Ralph. The clones begin to overrun the internet in a global DOS attack, all pursuing Vanellope in an attempt to keep her for themselves. Ralph is able to save her and he attempts to lure the clones into a firewall, but they form a giant Ralph monster that seizes them both. Ralph then comes to accept that Vanellope is able to make her own choices, letting go of his insecurities. This also causes the giant Ralph monster and the clones to vanish, and Ralph and Vanellope can reconcile. Ralph gives the other half of the broken medal to Vanellope, and they bid each other a heartfelt goodbye, as Shank has arranged for Vanellope to be able to respawn in Slaughter Race. Back in the arcade, Sugar Rush is fixed, and Ralph partakes in social activities with the other arcade characters as he stays in touch with Vanellope over a video chat, feeling content with his newfound ability to be independent as our movie comes to its end. After the original Wreck-It Ralph, I didn't know how they would do a sequel. And then I saw this and I was like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. They've already done the whole video arcade, 80s arcade thing. What's next to explore where there's gaming? The internet. Okay, makes sense. And then they spin this heartfelt tale into it about knowing when it's okay to move on and let go of somebody you love, whether it's a breakup, whether it's friends that just grow apart, whether it's the loss of somebody, a death. There comes a point where you just have to eventually let go and move on with your life. And they spin this very heartfelt tale where the two friends are clearly growing apart. Ralph is content to do the same thing day in and day out because he feels he's just got this great life. And much like a lot of Disney characters, Vanellope wants more. She's tired of playing the same game with the same characters on the same tracks on a regular basis. She wants spontaneity. She wants something different. And whether it's a couple, a significant other relationship, or a friendship, this is something that happens all the time in real life. And generally, one of the two people, sometimes it's the male, sometimes it's the female, in this case it's Ralph, the male, have a very hard time letting go of that and growing and moving on. They just want things to be the way they were. And people change, people grow, people develop. Especially in the case of this, where you've got Ralph, who's a full grown adult, and Vanellope, who's a child at the end of the day. Children go through phases all the time as far as what they like, what they don't like. One week they'll be watching this movie on loop nonstop. The next week They don't want to see that movie anymore, and it's something completely different. They've moved on. And it's just so beautifully woven and told. I thought the additions of Gal Gadot as Shank and Taraji P. Henson as Yes were phenomenal. And I thought the nice touch of bringing in the Disney princesses and going to the Oh My Disney set and that website was just a great little haha at themselves because they allow the princesses to make fun of themselves. And I've talked about before that's something I really enjoy in movies is when people cannot take themselves so seriously. And while they recast the voices of Snow White, Cinderella, and Sleepy Beauty for obvious reasons, every other princess was performed by their rightful voice. Ariel was Jodie Benson, Belle was Paige O'Hara, Jasmine, Pocahontas, Mulan was Ming Na Wen. You had Anna and Elsa and Moana and Merida and Tiana and Rapunzel. All of them were their normal voices. And that was cool too, considering Little Mermaid was 1989 and she's still doing Ariel's voice. Gotta love that. This is such a fun movie. Is it as good as Wreck-It Ralph, the original? No, I don't think so. However, it's a damn good sequel. I'm going to give Ralph Breaks the Internet 3.5 out of 5 stars. The only thing I might have done a little bit differently is the virus. The trip to the dark web and the Ralph clones, I might have trimmed that down just a little bit because I feel like the imagery could be too scary for kids, especially Double Dan with the normal head and like the head coming out of his side here. Might be a little bit too freaky for kids. But other than that, 3.5 out of 5 stars. What do you guys think? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right here to the Casa D18 Studios channel, as we're going to be presenting more episodes of Renegades Reviews. As we attempt to get everything caught up, we're going to be bringing you over the course of the day episodes Frozen 2. We're going to discuss Encanto. We're going to discuss Raya and the Last Dragon. And we're going to discuss the newest one, Strange World. And in addition to all of that, it is the season premiere of Stat Boy Sports Bar featuring Dory Lou. The food is hot, the beer is ice cold, and the seats are warm. So pull yourself up a bar stool and engage in some professional sports conversation. The food is hot, the beer is ice cold, and the seats are warm. So pull yourself up a bar stool and engage in some professional sports conversation with your barkeeps, Stat Boy Mike and Dory Lou, as they give an NFL kickoff preview. You don't want to miss out on any of that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel. Frozen 2, Encanto, Raya the Last Dragon, Strange World, Stat Boy Sports Bar season premiere. So much more stuff coming tomorrow. Don't want to miss any of it. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Stat Boy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE watch-along coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of video games, fans of Disney animation, fans of John C. Reilly or Sarah Silverman, fans of Gal Gadot or Taraji P. Henson, anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content in this video. Shared with them, as it's the only way we're going to keep my visibility up in YouTube's algorithms now that we are in fact a monetized channel right here on the platform. Thank you once again to everybody out there who joined me and tuned in this afternoon. It means so much more to me than you guys will ever know. And until tomorrow, I'll see you guys next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.